Hey, good morning, good evening. I'm trying to get my this to look all right. Good afternoon. This is Coffee with Kevin, and I am Kevin. Yes, I am Kevin. And more importantly, with this venue, this is my coffee. Oh, a new coffee mug. My wife just bought this for me. This is supposed to look like books on a shelf. Not so sure, but it is pretty. hmm I hope you have your coffee, your favorite cup of whatever it is. Maybe it's hot tea, maybe it's juice, water, whatever tea, whatever it is. I hope you have it and you can share with me. Well, not share, but actually have it here with me. All right. All right. I've got the headset. I'm going to try this headset out, and it doesn't look like, looks like it gives us a little video interference with my virtual background. And I love this virtual background. I'm going to keep this on today, and we're going to see how this is going to work in the future. Hey, it is August 19th. August 19th. Can you believe it? We're almost through August and into September, into the fall. Oh my goodness. We're about halfway through hurricane season down here in Florida. We got a hurricane coming through, Hurricane Erin, but it's not coming into Florida. It's going up the coast. I'm on the west coast. It's going up the east coast. So no effects here at all, which is cool. So what's happening on August 19th? Well, today was the and first race 1909 in Indianapolis. 1909, and the picture shows all these older cars with the big wheels, and you think of a bunch of Model Ts, Ford Model Ts racing. They weren't going 250 miles an hour, obviously, but it was really cool. It was the start of what here in the South is their favorite sport, racing of all sorts. We got NASCAR, we got the Indy 500, Daytona 500. You got all sorts of different things here. So yeah, this was the start. Also in 1812, the USS Constitution gets its nickname Old Ironsides. And I never knew. Here I was in Boston, living outside of Boston all my life, and I've seen the Constitution several times, never boarded, but I've seen it up close. And I always wondered, we just took it for a fact they called it Old Ironsides, and it was wooden. So what happened is in the War of 1812, the British ships were shooting their cannons at us, and it was said that the shots were just bouncing off the sides of the boat as if it were made of iron. And that's why they called it Old Ironsides. Interesting piece of trivia. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to learn some of that stuff. I've been doing a lot of the stuff where I see something, I hear something, and I look it up. I look it up. And so I want to know a little bit more about what's going on. And that's what I do. And that's how I've been learning a lot lately. I'll hear a word. I'll say, "Oh, what's this word really mean?" And I'll look it up. I say, "Oh my goodness, I didn't know that." Now I do. This is part of personal development. One of the things I was taught a long time ago, and I've never done, I'll confess, it says go through the dictionary, a page or two a day, and in a year you get through, I don't know whether it's a whole dictionary, but you're learning words. You're learning words that you might not have known. The way to learn a word, by the way, that you haven't known before is not only to look it up, it's to use it. It's to use it in your vocabulary. Now, I've learned some words that I use in my vocabulary, and people look at me and say, "Huh? What the heck are you talking about?" And that's going to happen sometimes as well. But you're learning for yourself, not so much for others, because you will hear words that you don't know. Look them up. Just don't take it for granted. So today, August 19th, it's National Aviation Day. If you have a plane, go fly. If you know someone with a plane, go ask them to fly. so, Orville Wright's birthday is on National Aviation Day. That's why it's called that. And the Wright brothers, the first ones to take powered flight. Powered flight. It's important for that because there was flight before then. They had, before the Wright brothers, they had hang gliders, dual wing hang gliders, and all sorts of things. Especially in Germany, they were well into flight a long time before we had powered flight by the Wright brothers. And the Wright brothers were in a race. There were others doing the same thing at the same time, launching off of boats and all that stuff. Really interesting when you do look that up and find that out. I am a fan of flying, of planes, of aeronautics. So I had done a lot of studies in the past. And yes, I've flown hang gliders and I've jumped out of planes. Who wants to jump out a perfectly good plane? Well, me. uh, Deborah says, let's look up the word battle axe, often used to describe a person. Interesting, Deborah. If you've looked that up, why don't you put it in the chat, and I will mention it to the audience. Yeah, battle axe is interesting. I just figured it was an axe that was made not for chopping trees, but for battle. That's what I thought it was. And yes, it's often used to describe a person, usually an older person, but a grumpy person. Today is also World Photography Day. If you know a photographer, and Deb, I know you do, give him a hug because it's World Photography Day. National Potato Day. Whoa, baby. Make sure your meal tonight has some sort of potato. Potatoes come in so many forms nowadays. Um, you can have French fries. You can have all sorts of different types of fries. You can have mashed. You can have baked. You can have boiled. You can have fried. Um, all sorts of things. And lastly, it's International Orangutan Day. Got to do something silly every once in a while. Learn and raise awareness about the smart, beautiful, but endangered primates known for as orangutans. And there's been orangutans in a lot of movies. There was a movie with, actually, a series of a couple of movies with Clint Eastwood. I can't think of the name right now, but I remember he used to say left turn, Clyde, and Clyde would put his left arm out for a turn, and right turn, Clyde, and Clyde would put his arm out, and he used that in the movie a few times. It's pretty interesting. Anyway, that's the national days today, at least the ones that I chose to talk about today. So today I want to just talk about something in Deb's on. I was at a conference a week ago, a weekend conference, and in Marlborough, Massachusetts. I went back to my old stomping grounds, my old living place in Worcester, Massachusetts, and I had an incredible, incredible time. The conference was the National Guild of Hypnosis. So I hung out with 200 to 300 some odd hypnotists. And what an interesting time that is. And I've been doing this for, I think, 16 years now. And I just love hanging with these people. They're just some of the best people in the world. Hypnotists first of all, they all love this science of, helping people through working with the subconscious mind through hypnosis. And we all love helping people. And when you're in a place when everyone is there who loves helping people, that is a special place. That is a special place. So we had a great weekend. I got to teach, which is what I love to do every single year. I get to teach. This year was a light load for me. I had 3 classes. Last year I had 6, and I'm not going to do the 6 again because I want to be able to enjoy the classes myself so I can learn, not just so I can teach. And I learned a lot, and I got to really connect with a lot of people there as well, which was just phenomenal. So that was a great time. And then, we hadn't been up for a year. So I get to see my kids, or at least my boys and their children. I had already seen them this year. Both of my boys and their kids had come down to visit us here, but we get to go up there and visit with them, spend a little time, and then see some of the other relatives that we hadn't seen as well. I got to stay with my sister and see my brother-in-law, or one of my brother-in-laws, and it was just wonderful. It was wonderful until it wasn't. Until that last day, the travel day. My wife always says, I hate travel day. Well, I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning of travel day. We were going to get an early flight out. We are going to have to travel to Logan Airport early enough. And I look out the window, and what do I see, or what don't I see, is my rental car. It was gone from the space I parked it in. My sister lives in this huge condo complex, and there's a little island in the middle of this big cul-de-sac. And I parked against the island where I've been seeing people park for the last couple of days that I've been staying there. And it was raining when I came in that night. And I was gonna leave Brenda off at the door and go park it in where we had parked. And I was tired, and she said, "Yeah, let's just leave it here." So I parked a little further up. I was far enough away from the fire hydrant and stuff like that. But it got towed. It got towed. Someone called on us. I had come in at 9 o'clock at night. Who would care? Who would care? It was raining out. Who would care? But someone had called on us and had the car towed. And I found out when you have a rental car towed, it's not the easiest thing to just go pick it up, show them the keys, show them your license, go in and show them the paperwork that's inside. No, they need the title, or a copy of the title, and something from the rental car company that says, hey, it's okay to take it away. But the rental car company doesn't want to give that to you. They want to go be the ones, have to be there. Actually, I think it was the towing company said someone from the rental car company had to deliver this. Finding the right people, finding what had to be done, was an all morning effort, way past our flights, which we had to be no shows at. They were unrefundable anyway. I couldn't reschedule them. You take a chance when you say non-refundable, and 99% of the time you're going to get those flights, which I have in the past. Not this time. So we finally got it all done, and I didn't want to reschedule flights until I knew what had to be done and when it could be done, and then I knew I could go to the airport. So we scheduled some flights. The unfortunate thing is, the way I scheduled the flights, we were on different flights. That was on me, definitely all on me. Just like it was on me getting the car towed. You have to take responsibility. You do have to take responsibility, even though it's like, okay, someone here called on me. I could blame them. But the car was not parked where the cars should be parked. Matter of fact, there was a sign there that said fire lane, and I should have known that. It was my fault. It got towed, and it was, you know, uh, when I booked the flights, it was my fault. I was trying to, I had seen there were a couple seats open, but I had seen when you book them separately, you were going to get lower cost. That didn't work. We got to the airport, though. Things started getting better. Now I was flying in out of Manchester. It's a smaller airport, and it was closer. So we got a ride there, and things started to get better. because as soon as I got to the airport, the attendant said, "I can get you guys on the same flight." And so we both got on the flight that my wife was booked on. It was going to Charlotte. We had been going to different stopovers, and we were going to meet at the same time back in Charlotte. And thank God we didn't do that. So we got on the same. We were going to meet at the same time back at Tampa, should I say? So we got on different flights. We got on the same flight. They booked us on the same flight, and lo and behold, that flight was delayed. And as soon as I saw that flight was delayed, and I looked up as when it was going to be landing in Charlotte, I knew when we were going to be leaving Charlotte. It was going to be landing 5 minutes after the plane was scheduled to leave. So I got some assistance again. American Airlines was very good at assisting me, and I got a later flight at 10:30 instead of we were going to be getting in to get an 8:15 flight. It's 10:30. Let's get that 10:30 flight and we'll be fine. Well, our flight getting out of Manchester didn't go. So it was weather in Charlotte. We were delayed, had to move. We were delayed so much we had to move a gate, but thank God the Manchester airport is like it's like a 2-minute walk to 5 gates away. And we delayed, and then we got on the plane, and we delayed again. We got out to the tarmac, and we were delayed 45 minutes. We got to leave earlier than the scheduled delay, which was really great. The pilot had come on and says he's begging them for an earlier route that we could get there, and we did. We flew out, and we get to Charlotte, and Charlotte's not a small airport, not small at all. We had to go 2 gates away, and it was a 15, 17-minute walk, a big walk for my wife who has a hard time walking. And we get to the plane, and beautiful, brand new spanking plane. It was huge. Loved it. We all get on, we all board, and then we get an announcement a few minutes later from the pilot that said, "This plane's going nowhere tonight." It's like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Here we are. We got a 10:30 flight into Tampa, and he's saying this plane's going nowhere. Does that mean we're not going anywhere tonight? No, they had arranged to get another plane to take its place. They didn't tell us what was wrong with the plane, but they arranged for another plane to take its place. But it was 2 gates away. It was again another 20-minute walk. For some reason, they don't have these golf carts going around inside. I mean, they got the area to do that, but they don't, like in other airports. You don't have a shuttle of any sort. And they had some walking sidewalks on the way back to the newer gate, which is pretty cool, but one of them wasn't working. If something was going to go wrong that day, it went wrong. There was a bunch of other stuff that went wrong. We woke up, we were sleeping on the couch with a big extension, one of those where the leg rest comes up, but it was double wide, and and it just fell on. It fell on Brenda. She ended up on the floor. Not hurt, not hurt. But it was just funny. That's how we started our day. Um, if something was going to go wrong, it would go wrong. We finally got on the plane, and then there was another delay. They said, "Well, we got to wait to get catering and everything on." Well, I don't know what happened with that, because as soon as they took off, they said, "We don't have drinks and cups for you. We can have a few, and you can get them." It was, yeah. Thank you, Jamie Jenkins. We did make it finally. The blessing was we did get on another plane, a safe plane. It was the exact same, so our seats were the same. We didn't have any delays with that or anything, and we finally got in. And all along, I had a friend back home that was an Uber Lyft driver, and he was there at night. He was following me, and we were texting when we could, and he waited. He waited an hour and a half past when the original flight was supposed to land. And so he was taking rides and doing whatever, and he waited for us. And when we landed, he was there to take us home, and it was just wonderful. It was just incredible. So it was a rough day, but we made it, and it was just awesome. And it was just, we went through all this stuff, but we made it safe. That was the important part. That was the important part. There was weather in Charlotte. It wasn't that fault. See whose fault this whole day was? Was mine for the mistake I made of just assuming, hey, I can get away with parking where I parked. Everybody else parks there. And I had to go and take responsibility. Not so much blame. That's what people have the problem with. It was my responsibility. It was my responsibility from the start. But we made it. And I did my whole Ho'oponopono the whole time, trying to keep myself as stress free as possible. And pretty hard for a lot of this stuff, especially when I found out the cost of having it impounded, and God knows what the cost of the rental car company. They haven't hit me with that yet. uh, but yeah, there was a lot of stress that day, but we got through it, and we got home, and boy, were we glad to sleep in our own beds at night. That night, that was the relief. And we got up the next morning, got some sleep, got up the next morning, and got back to our lives. Go back to our lives. We all have something in our lives that causes us issues, causes stress, causes anxiety. They're obstacles that stop us from doing what we want to do initially. We have to deal with them. There's nothing we could do with them. I used to be the type that would keep on going back, maybe kicking myself because I like to blame myself for a lot of things. And that's why I said, I'll take responsibility. I'm not going to blame. I used to be the type where even 3 or 4 days later, I'd still be kicking myself. How could I have possibly done that? I learned. It's what I do nowadays. When I go back and I go visiting my sister, and even if we go sleep there again, I'm not going to park where I shouldn't park, no matter how many other cars are parked there. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to get towed, and I'm not going to do it because it's not the right thing to do. It's not the right thing to do. I don't look at it as punishment either. Sometimes I used to punish myself subconsciously and make all sorts of things go wrong. There's a few things here I had no control of. I wasn't making it go wrong. It just happened. It just lined up. And maybe it was there for a lesson for me. I don't know. But it worked. We got through it. We're here. We're home. We're safe. It was a great trip. The day before the trip, my daughter came down. She flew in from Baltimore, and we picked her up at the airport. We had a great day with her. We hadn't seen her in quite a while, and we had a wonderful day with her. And she volunteered to come take care of the home and the cats while we were gone, which was fantastic. She actually got a little obstacle in her trip because before she left, she found out that she couldn't stay the entire week that she had planned because the store she was working with was having it. Well, all the stores in Baltimore and New Jersey was having tax free, and they needed all hands on board. So she got a little obstacle. She couldn't stay to see us come back. It was a good thing. I didn't want her staying at the airport all night long. So she had to leave a couple of days later, and she enjoyed our place, enjoyed the beaches down here. And so I'm really happy that I got to see my daughter and help my daughter have a little mini vacation. Though it was by herself, she still enjoyed it. We saw pictures all the time. It was wonderful. So there's a lot of good things that happened there. Most people would deny all those good things from that last day and forget all those good things, not consciously, but they would be really hard to see the trip as being successful. The trip was incredibly successful, and I saw some wonderful people. I saw some people I hadn't seen for years that I've been wanting to see in person. And I just loved it. And it was just so great. I just wanted to give you an update because I, as a little lesson, we all have things like that happen to us. I do have I do have a quote. I saw a quote this morning. I wasn't looking for them, but I saw this quote and I thought this would be incredible quote. I often help people move forward, and that's what I'm helping. That's what I do for a living is I help people move forward, get over the obstacles and stuff like that. So when I saw this quote, I loved it. Basically, the most of the important things that the in the world have been accomplished by people who kept on trying when there seemed to be no hope at all. Now, I wasn't in a no hope situation. For that day, maybe I was in a no hope situation, saying I won't get home that day. I didn't get home that day. We got home the morning after, a couple hours after the day ended. Um, but in the greater picture, a lot of great things have been done by people who kept on trying when there seemed to be no hope. When you get obstacles, big obstacles in front of you, you keep on trying, keep on trying. And I know the my two friends that have joined us, well, Deb and Joan, and even my friend Jamie, uh, I know for a fact in all of your lives there's been big obstacles. There's been big obstacles. And you kept on trying and you got through them. And maybe some of you are still getting through them, but you're getting through them. And you'll be able to see it in a more positive way. And that's what we have. When we have no hope and all we see is doom and gloom, that's all we're going to get is doom and gloom. There's a term out there a lot of people, and especially in the medical field, a lot of people like to use is false hope. False hope. Because they say, okay, this is false hope and it does you no good. You're going to end up doing things you shouldn't. Well, false hope, I don't think there's a such thing because anything can happen at for any instance. And when we're talking medical, there's been so many instances and so many stories of people who had terminal cancer who didn't die when they said they were going to die, who lived many years after, who the cancer went away. Granted, most of the people, it doesn't. But you know what? False hope. Hope is can't be false because hope is hoping for something good to happen. It can't be false. There's always a chance. And sometimes even if it's minute, always a chance something good can happen. And from a psychological point of view, from a thought process point of view, and from the subconscious point of view, when you have that hope, it gives you that positiveness that actually increase the odds from maybe minute to a little better. It increases the odds of something good happening. So I don't think any hope is ever false. So again, maybe you're not going to create something incredible for the world, but maybe you can accomplish something good for you and the people around you, even when there seems to be no hope at all. All right. I hope you like this. It was a lot more personal than usual, but this is how we used to do it 5 years ago when I first started. Little stories about what happened to me. This is a learning lesson. And what happened last week is we didn't have one last week. My bad, my responsibility. I was out, was intending to do it, and just couldn't get the phone working to do this live stream because I hadn't prepared ahead of time. Again, I take full responsibility for that, and it feels good because now I have full responsibility to make sure that I can do it via my phone from now on. All right, all. You have incredible week. And it's not up to me for you to have an incredible week. It's up to you. It's your choice, and you can make it happen. Believe me, I know you can make it happen. Take care, all. Bye.